In my previous video, I was talking about someone starting something with what is at one's disposal, and there were 3 points of interest. The first point was about an individual interacting with the environment, getting to interrogate what is around us. This is a river before me. What can I do with the water that is in the river? What is in the river? There is fish. I can fish there, then I can go and sell what I get from there. The second point was about an individual getting to apply the talents or the abilities which they possess, whereby they do not need qualifications for them to practice that which they are able to do. Then the third point was how ideas can appear to be discouraging when they are still raw, or when they have not yet been finished, or when they have not yet been refined. An individual can be discouraged. Now, in this video, I want to discuss change in the world, because science or empirical science confirms the fact that the world experiences change, and our experiences as human beings confirm this fact that the world undergoes change. And I think the changes that the world provides for us, they are opportunities or possibilities for us to enhance our life on earth. So science states that the world is under constant change, and the world that we live in is quite complex. Now, how does the change in the world enhance man's life? You know that each and every human being occupies a particular space and time. This simply reminds us, or this simply makes us to be aware of our autonomy in the world. And this just tells us to say each and every person in this world interacts with this change as a possibility differently. We think as individuals. Yes, we may share in the thinking of others, but the thinking process itself is done by an individual. Since the thinking is done by an individual, therefore the individual is responsible for the thinking, and how the person is going to respond to the particular change in his space and time is completely responsible. Hence, the decision lies upon the individual how they'll be able to respond to the particular change at that particular time, because that is a possibility at their disposal. An opportunity is not an end in itself, but a transit to the end. So an opportunity is just a transition to the end. For example, going to a medical school is a possibility to become a medical practitioner. But just being in a medical school does not make one to be a medical practitioner. Becoming a medical practitioner implies that the person has to interact with the books. The person has to interact with the lessons. The medical practitioner has to interact with each and every requirement that is needed for one to qualify to be called a medical practitioner. We are all in the world, but we think differently and independently. We are distinct human beings. What I can do, another person cannot do, or they can do, but not the same way I may do that. This simply accounts for the diversity that we see in the world in terms of how we respond to the possibilities that are before us. An example that simply shows that we think differently and we respond to possibilities differently. A hot weather is a possibility for an individual to make money by selling beverages. A hot weather as well is a possibility for someone to produce electricity through solar energy. A hot weather can be a possibility for someone to go and swim or to have some leisure time. You see how the minds tend to respond to different possibilities at their disposal. The technology we are enjoying right now is nothing but an evidence of man's effort to counter the change and challenges of the world, which came as possibilities for those people who thought of what they were able to create in order to enhance their lives or to make their lives easy or possible. And this tells the story of the civilization of man, or the progress of man in the area of science and technology. So, what are the possibilities that the world has provided for us, whether through social interaction or through the nature of things like weather? The challenges the world poses to us are simply possibilities meant for us to actualize ourselves, to become that which we are supposed to become.